times 10 to the 6th on the top in the numerator divided by 13.27 times 10 to the 5th. Okay, so once we've got that far, then all we have left to do is divide, right? So we'll divide this 57.11, which we had at the top for multiplying these two numbers together, divided by 13.27. That equals 4.3. And then we'll go 10 to the 6th divided by 10 to the 5th. So when we're dividing exponents, when the base is the same, so the base is still 10, then you just subtract the exponents. And 6 minus 5 is 1. So we will go with 4.3 times 10 to the first power. And that's our answer. We have a video on scientific notation, a YouTube video, and I would recommend checking that out if that seemed confusing in terms of how we did the multiplying exponents or dividing them. So in question 2, we basically have, it's the same question, just the numbers are different. Okay, so 83.9 times 2.87. Right, so we'll multiply those and get 240.793. 10 to the 12th times 10 to the negative 3. Right, so then again, base is the same, 10. 12 plus negative 3 is 9. So then we have 10 to the 9th. Okay, so in the numerator, we have 240.793 times 10 to the 9th divided by 3.76 times 10 squared. Okay, so we have that 240.793, divide that by 3.76, we get 64.04 times 10 to the 9th we had up here, divided by 10 squared. Again, we just subtract the exponents. When we divide it and the base is the same, base is 10 on numerator and denominator, so we get 10 to the 7th. So we have 64.04 times 10 to the 7th. Okay, and then we look here and we see none of the answers that we got, right? So almost always they're going to want the answer form to be in the form of like 6.404 or 6 point, right, times some number, right? So just one number, decimal point, and then more numbers, right? That's what it's going to look like, right? So like where you see here 64.04, almost for sure this is going to be wrong. We should have said this before we did the question. Almost for sure this one's going to be wrong. These two are the most likely. Anyway, as you're doing this, so 6.404 times 10 to the 8th is the same as 64.04 times 10 to the 7th, right? So when we take the decimal point and move it 1 over, that means the exponent goes 1 higher. And again, if that's confusing, go to the scientific notation GED video, and we have a bunch of examples on a whiteboard that will help you out and show you all those specific math steps you need to make. Also, we have an app coming out for GED, and might want to check that out as well, free to install. Okay, so sort the following fractions in ascending order: 7/8, 9/10, 16/20. Okay, so what we need to find is the common denominator for all three of these, right? So we need the bottom number to be the same for all three, and then we can compare them equally. In this form, it's kind of hard. So first we want to see, could all three of these numbers have 20 as a denominator? So we got 20 here. 10 times 2 is 20. That would work. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. Doesn't work. Okay, so then what about 40? So 20 times 2 is 40. 10 times 4 is 40. 8 times 5 is 40. So that works, right? So we're going to have common denominator of 40. So again, we just said 8 times 5 is 40, and then multiply the top by the same as the bottom. 7 times 5 is 35. Okay, so this first number here is 35. 10 times 4 is 40. 9 times 4 is 36. So this number is 36, this middle number. Okay, so we got a 35 and a 36. So we now know that 9/10 is bigger than 7/8. And with this one, 20 times 2 is 40. 16 times 2 is 32. Okay, so this one's the smallest. So our order is going to be 16/20, 7/8, 9/10. Okay, dividing fractions. So we need to turn these into improper fractions. That just means that the number in the numerator on the top of the fraction is greater than the denominator at the bottom of the fraction. So the way we do this is 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7. So 2 and 1/3 equals 7/3. Okay, so we have 7/3 divided by 7 times 8 is 56 plus 3 is 59. So 59/8, 59 over 8. Okay, and so when you're dividing, once we have it like this, right, then we have 7/3 divided by 59/8. Then we flip the second fraction, which is the 59 over 8. We flip it so that it says 8 over 59, and then we multiply the two numbers together. All right, so that's a little way that we go about dividing fractions. So 7/3 times 8 over 59 equals 56 over 177. And those are referred to as like mixed and improper fractions. And we got a video for that too. GED, mixed and improper fractions will help you out with this if anything there seem confusing. Okay, money problem. Investor invests $2,500 into a mutual fund, earns 5.75% on the principal in each of the 3 years. How much interest has accrued at the end of the period? So the first thing, always want to make sure we read the question carefully. So they're saying how much interest, not like some total, right? So we should immediately be able to eliminate the second answer of $4,000, right? Is the total is not even going to get that high, right? So we know there's no way that's right. Okay, so 2,500 times 0.0575 will give us the amount of interest for the first year. And make sure you multiply it by 0.0575, not by 0.575. 0.575 is right like 0.57, 57%. So we give us a really wrong answer. Anyway, if we multiply 2,500 times 0.0575, we get $143.75. So that's the interest for the first year. Now the temptation for a lot of people is to just say, okay, that's the interest for year one, multiply that by 3, and then that will be our answer. And that comes to 413.25. Okay, so that is not going to be correct. The reason it's not going to be correct is because there's a new total every year, right? So I would get that 5.75% every year, but after year one, right, once I got that $143.75, that's going to be added into my new total. So now my total will be 2,643.75. And then I'll multiply that by 5.75%, and that'll give me year two. And then I'll do the same thing for year 3. Okay, so when I went through and did this, I got interest of 456.51. That obviously is not an answer choice. So we know we've eliminated these first two. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that one. And that just because it's closer to the answer that I got. That should not happen to us very often here. And we'll see what they tell us at the end when we'll review all 30 of these and see what we got right and what we got wrong. Hopefully nothing wrong, but we'll go over number 5 and see why we didn't get the same answer that obviously they did. Okay, order of operations. So the order of operations, we're doing Pemdas, right? Pemdas stands for parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. And so that's just the order in which you go about solving this, right? And you have to know Pemdas, right? It's definitely going to, order of operations is going to show up on the test. Anytime we see order of operations, it means Pemdas. Okay, so parentheses first. 4 minus 7 is -3. So then we would rewrite it as 3 times -3 squared plus 10 divided by 5. I guess I forgot to say in the beginning, if I was doing this as a student, is I would look at the question, pause the video, trying to solve it myself, and then hit play and see how we solved it, right? And see if you get the same stuff. It's much more helpful doing it that way. Anyway, so we have 3 times -3 squared plus 10 over 5. Okay, so the next thing we do is the exponents. And remember, so a negative number squared is always going to be positive, right? So like -3 times -3 is 9. So -3 squared is not -9. So now we have 3 times 9 plus 10 over 5. right? The third part of Pemdas is m, multiply. 3 times 9 is 27. 27 plus 10 divided by 5. Now we divide. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 27 plus 2 is 29. All right, so again, with something like that, it may seem like I went through it pretty quick, especially without being able to see all the writing. Doing the problem first by yourself is a good idea. Order of operations again. This time you have to plug in. Okay, so we have -3 times x is 3 times y -3. So -3 times 3 times -3 squared minus -5 over 3 times 3 times 5. Okay, so a bunch of numbers to do. So remember PEMDAS, right? So the first thing in is really any math to do inside parentheses, we do that. So we don't have that in this one. There's nothing to do. So we move on to the exponents. So moving left to right, we have -3 times 3 times -3 squared. So again, -3 squared is 9, not -9. And that's the only exponent. And so now we'll just go ahead and multiply that out. So -3 times 3 is 9, or is -9, times 9 is -81. Minus, we have this -5 over 3 times 3 over 1, right? So that's -15 over 3, which equals -5. Then -5 times z, which is 5, equals -25. Okay, so we have -81 minus -25. When there's a minus negative, two negatives in a row, that means positive. -81 plus 25, -56. An easier one here. Solve for n. Okay, n plus 28 equals -84. Subtract 28 from each side, right? And remember, when we start with a negative and we subtract, that makes it more negative, right? So further away from 0. So -84 minus 28 is -112.